Do you have kids?
I don't.
So that would have been interesting to see like how you handled that. Have you given a thought to how the way that you came up and the fact that it wasn't crushed out of you could be systematized and could be something that could be rolled out?
I thought about that quite a lot, of course.
So what is that in terms of the ideal school system? What does that look like?
I think it's less to think about it as an ideal school system and as a civilization, because by the time the kid goes to school, they've already been profoundly imprinted, right? By the time they're 5 or 6 years old and they're going to first grade or kindergarten or wherever it is they start, they've already fully learned the language in which they think and all of the ways that that language predisposes patterns of thought. They've already learned the, the beginning of emotional dispositions and social values and lots of things. And then, obviously, if the educational system has to prepare kids for the workforce, so we think about economics as it is, then it has to do certain things that are not necessarily what would make them the healthiest, happiest people if it's preparing them for a workforce. As the workforce changes through technological automation and peak resource issues of the planet and AI automation and other things like that, obviously the role of education gets completely recontextualized. So instead, if you were to ask, how would we redesign civilization from scratch that included the thing we call education, but also we mostly evolved in small bands and villages where we didn't just have two parents that were influencing us, we had a whole crew of people that we had pretty deep connections with, sub-Dunbar kind of connections. Is even the nuclear family within a very large city metropolis where you don't know hardly anyone else but have interactions with lots of people, and then the mostly have huge numbers of superficial interactions via online social media platforms, like, is that how, what does that do to develop humans? So this question of ontological design, we build environments, whether it's schools or economic systems, in the nature of the incentive of economics, right? My ability to as long as the forest, I go and enjoy the forest, gives me no economic advantage. But if I cut it down and commoditize it, it gives me a lot of economic advantage. The economic system itself, the perverse incentive in the economic system, is conditioning value systems in people. And whoever does better at getting the value systems that go along with the economic incentive system will end up getting more power within the system and thus continuing to evolve the system in the direction that benefits them and the other people do well with it.